The 2026 draft will change everything for 4 NBA franchises. That's because the top 4 prospects would have all gone number 1 in the 2024 draft and number 2 behind Cooper Flagg this year. So to recap, that is Coop number 1, then 4 guys from this 2026 draft class, then Dylan Harper and Zachary Reeves-Shea. So who are these mystery kids? And which NBA teams actually have a legit shot at landing them? Well, it turns out all 4 players are worthy of going number 1 right now. So over the next year, somebody is going to separate. So we're not sure about the depth of 2026, but the top is stacked with all-star talent. Also, just like the 2025 draft, the top prospects are all American, one of the weakest European classes in a while. So if you like easy to pronounce names like Nate and AJ, you're gonna love this draft. But let's start with the projected number 1 pick right now. That is Darren Peterson, a 6'5" guard who will play at Kansas. People were shocked when Darren stole the number 1 crown from AJ DeBonsta just a few months ago. If the NBA still allowed high school to the pros, this dude would be in the league next year. He has a pro-level body and his game is polished. A 3-level scorer with that alpha mentality, not afraid to take the last shot. But he can both score and initiate at the guard position, which projects him to be more versatile than a Devin Booker or Donovan Mitchell. But the money he is already making is insane. And that's a theme with all of these kids. We are seeing that NIL is making kids rich at an early age in high school now. So he's from Canton, Ohio, and is super proud of it. Like, dude's favorite NBA player is CJ McCollum because he's also from Canton. But Ohio won't let high school players make NIL money. So what do you do when Adidas offers you $1 million at 16 years old? You pack up and move to West Virginia. By the next year, he had already signed another multi-million-dollar deal with Fanatics. So companies are betting that he will go number 1. But the craziest thing I saw about Darren Peterson was Kansas coach Bill Self, who coached Joel Embiid, Andrew Wiggins, said Darren is the best player we have recruited since we've been here. But number 2 for now is AJ DeBonsta, 6'9" forward, will play at BYU. And make no mistake, AJ could easily rise back up to number 1 by this time next year. He has that rare combination of size and skill that people compare to Paul George and Jason Tatum. Dude shoots over players in isolation, creates off the dribble, finishes above the rim, and playmakes. But what I love about this kid is his upbringing. His parents are from the Congo, and they have that immigrant mindset. His dad, Ace, got a job as a police officer at Boston University near their home so that the kids could get free tuition, except the kids weren't even born yet. Now, it turned out that all 3 kids are star athletes, so he doesn't actually need the help. In fact, they really don't need the help because he is making bank. Forget brands like Nike paying him, which they do. I had no idea. Schools will pay these kids to come play for them, like they're pro teams or something. Like Montverde offered AJ $1 million to play his senior year there. Seriously, 7 figures, but he turned them down because another school called Utah Prep offered him $600K and part ownership in the school. This is insane for a 17-year-old. But prospect number 3 is Cam Boozer, a 6'9" forward going to Duke. So at one point, Cam was ranked ahead of Cooper Flagg when we thought that they were both going to go in the same draft class. It went Cam 1, Cooper 2, AJ DeBonsta 3, but then Cooper reclassified and Cam slid down. Why? Well, honestly, it's more like other players jumped him. But I saw an expert describe Boozer as the ideal Robin to a team's Batman at the NBA level. He's a strong rebounder, rim finisher, good in transition, but can shoot from deep and make smart passes. Just look at him play for Team USA against Team World recently. The kid looks like an NBA player out there, similar to Cooper Flagg when he was playing against Team USA before the Olympics. Now, Cam in this game had 22 points, 16 boards, and 6 assists. Obviously, the son of a 2-time All-Star Carlos Boozer, and sons of NBA players are generally a good bet. But this kid also somehow has a 4.9 GPA, plays cello in the local orchestra, and tutors both algebra and geometry. However, I said that there were 4 players with a chance to go number 1 in the NBA draft, depending on how this next year shakes out. You may have heard of Darren Peterson, AJ DeBonsta, Cam Boozer, but what about number 4, Nate Ament, a 6'10" wing who will play at Tennessee? Yet another two-way forward with skills like a guard, but he's like almost 7 feet tall. But Nate is less developed than the other three. Why? Because he really fell in love with basketball during the pandemic, and then quickly shut up the prospect rankings. And if he shows that development at Tennessee, we could see him go number 1. But Nate might have the craziest story of all these prospects. His mom wasn't allowed to go to school as a kid in Rwanda, so UNICEF gave her a scholarship to move to Italy. But while she's there, a war broke out and her entire family was killed. So the Italian family she was staying with adopted her, and eventually she goes back to Rwanda to help out as an adult. Meanwhile, Nate's dad was a small school basketball legend in the US. He joins the Peace Corps after graduation, visits Rwanda, falls in love with Nate's mom, and it's the craziest How I Met Your Mother story ever. So you can imagine the grinder, take nothing for granted mindset that Nate must have. All 4 of these prospects seem like amazing players and people, but which NBA teams are going to tank to get them? Well, obviously anything can happen in the draft. We just saw Dallas with less than a 2% chance go number 1. But mostly, the top pick does go to teams with one of those bottom 3 records. Literally 4 years in a row, one of those bottom 3 teams got number 1 since they changed the format in 2019. So who is that going to be 2026? Well, the obvious tanking teams next year are the Jazz, the Washington Wizards, and the Brooklyn Nets. But you know what's crazy? The West is so deep that multiple contending teams just have to suck based on the math. Like, look at the West, right? Tier 1, I've got the Thunder by themselves. Tier 2, the Nuggets by themselves, because they've got Nikola Jokic, and they took OKC to 7 games in the playoffs. Tier 3, I've got the Lakers, Warriors, Rockets, Wolves, and Clippers if healthy. Below that, also teams who are in win now mode. The Grizz, the Kings, the Mavs, the Suns, the Spurs, and Pels. Which means the only teams who are not competing are the Blazers and Jazz. 2 teams! 7 teams will miss the playoffs. 7. So that is 7 teams who plan to be good, who are going to be pissed at how their season turns out. But by the way, why not the Boston Celtics? We know that Jason Tatum is injured, people talking about a gap year. How crazy would it be if they somehow found a way to punt next season to end up with a top 3 pick? Obviously, they would need some draft luck, and I'm not saying it's likely, but a slow start by them might turn into something crazy. So the point is that next year is going to be insanely competitive in the NBA, but there will be a huge reward at the end. This 2026 class is stacked, and 3 to 4 teams are going to be very glad that they picked high in the draft. But one guy on his way out of the NBA is Andre Drummond. This dude went from the face of a franchise to riding the bench in his prime. But the cool thing is Andre knows exactly what mistakes he made along the way, and now he's trying to teach other players so that they don't follow in his footsteps.